Final out the door for 2024 here on Cape Cod, where I grew up. Still several more days of other doors, and I'm just staring at the web cameras this morning. Hard to believe what I'm seeing. Boston Museum of Science. This is another one of our web cameras here. Facing toward the west, Prudential Tower right in there. Visibility less than a half mile. That means the snow in Boston is accumulating a ½ inch per hour. Wow, we had some rain here. Hey, T-Rex. The real T-Rex is in Weymouth, where I was shocked again when I looked out the window. No, my web camera in Weymouth this morning. This is the first thing I did when I woke up. I saw that it was cold and there was something on the radar, and wow, the ground turned white. This is the fourth time the ground has turned white in 3 weeks in North Weymouth, and it's the fourth time I was surprised by it. And you add them all up and we've had less than 3/4 of an inch of snow. And since then it has melted, but it's accumulating again in Boston. Here on Cape Cod, this is Bass River. This is right where I grew up. And there's Dad's cod wind finder. It's a little leaning, but it's pointed toward the east. And it looks like we're gonna have wind from the east in off the ocean for quite some time. I look straight up now. I have blue sky directly overhead, but those are cirrus clouds ahead of an approaching low pressure system that's dropped 5 to 8 inches of snow around Wisconsin and just north of Chicago. This has been something along the boundary of an Arctic front we've been watching for more than a week now, wondering what it was going to do here in New England tonight and tomorrow. Initially, when it first came on the 10-day forecast, it looked like it was going to be a warm storm run west of us. And boy, has it changed so much since then. About 6 days ago, it looked like a perfect huge nor'easter. And then most of the guidance completely lost it over the over the last 5 days, except for one, the Canadian model. We chose the Canadian model because, well, we wanted snow and it seemed more reasonable to think that something was going to happen from this. And it's more than just one thing going on. It's that low coming in from the west, and also the fact that we have Arctic air starting to come in across the water. And it was raining here pretty hard earlier in the day, and I turned this bucket, I cleaned it out a little bit and turned it into the Cape Cod official Steve T-Rex TK rain snow ice bucket, and there was no ice in here. This is how much rain we've had since Thanksgiving. This morning it was raining pretty hard and the sun was out, and I thought maybe we'd have a rainbow, but that did not happen. Play-by-play is what we're doing. Weather, as Darius Aniunas says, weather is utterly captivating. And I've been captivated by it right here. This is exactly where I grew up. This is where we grew up when we were younger, and then Mom and Dad built another house over here, and now Tim and Kevin have the houses, and the family has this nice little Kelly compound overlooking Fallon's Pond. And this tree, I know you want to hear the weather, but I'm telling all these stories, sorry. This tree I gathered from Sutton, Vermont when I went to Lundstedt State College in the mid-'80s, and it was that tall then, and now it's this tall, and it's got the lights on it. So what's going to happen next? We do not know. This weather is now in complete play-by-play mode, now casting. The radar showed snow coming at us from the west and little blobs coming in from the east. We've been Steve-centric. It doesn't really show any snow in the air over Steve's house in Shrewsbury, but if we go to his webcam, it has been snowing very lightly all morning, and the pond ice is getting a little thicker, and you can see it is dusted white with a temperature in the upper 20s. And so that, combined with the fact that it's snowing so hard in Boston, and the latest guidance has all come around. Here's the Shrewsbury 5-day meteogram using the Canadian model. Now the Canadian is a little less snowy than all the other guidance, but the Canadian's the only one that's stuck with snow around Shrewsbury today. And now I think I should just, the low temperature on Monday morning now is down to about 3 degrees according to the Canadian, but the sun is coming back supposedly in Shrewsbury on tomorrow afternoon, Sunday, Monday. Now it looks like it tries to snow again on Tuesday and have sunshine on Wednesday. Now that's going to be a huge moving target also, what happens here next week, because it's an action-packed loaded forecast. Why don't we start with sort of a middle of the road output from this morning's guidance. I watched it all come in. That's one of the reasons I'm so late. This is the HRRR. It didn't even show that snow over Boston this morning. It does show some snow bands coming in from the east and then from the west during the afternoon tonight. And the green is rain on Cape Cod changing to snow. And it shows the back edge east of the even Merrimack River. So it's just really eastern Massachusetts and the coast of Maine, according to the HRRR, that's getting this snow. I got to tell you, the NAM is very different. I don't really have time or desire to show all the different guidance, but if we just show the snowfall from the HRRR, you see western New England gets 0 to 2 inches. Then there's nothing over Lake Winnipesaukee to Sebago. And then over eastern Massachusetts and Maine, and, well, the Great Lakes states off of Lakes Ontario and Erie show some purple there, 6 to 12. And down East Maine shows some 6 to 12. And if we hold our cursor now over Nantucket, Massachusetts, are you watching, Bruce? Are you scalloping this morning? It shows 4 inches of snow for Nantucket. Oh my goodness. And by the way, the NAM shows about 2 or 3 times as much snow. You take into account the ratios, and with the precipitation amounts in the order of now 0.5 to 1, if this was a pure all cold event, that would be 5 to 10 inches of snow. My guess is that the Boston area is going to come in with about 5. Steve and Shrewsbury, I think you're going to get 1 to 2. So the odds of a white Christmas now from Shrewsbury to Boston have been upped greatly to greater than 70%, because after this, there's really no melting coming in. And the least likely area for a white Christmas now would be in the lakes region of New Hampshire and Maine. And of course, it's been snowing in the Green Mountains and the northern mountains of New Hampshire and Maine all week. So there could be a little donut hole where it's not a white Christmas right in the center of New England, over around Lake Winnipesaukee, where the ice is going to harden up. Are you going to start ice fishing? It's about that time. And also just the shallow bays. And Steve, your pond in Shrewsbury will probably freeze solid. Okay, 7 minutes, and I'm barely making the forecast for the next 36 hours. I'll show you the meteogram for South Dennis right here. This is off weather.us. You can see all the different models, and I think this was still the Canadian, and it shows like no sunshine here right through Christmas because of the cold air over the water and multiple low pressure systems. So odds of a white Christmas on Cape Cod are fairly high. I'd say about 75%. What's going to happen after this? Well, the cold's coming in. Let's just go to the big picture. I'll stick with the Euro for the big picture. The high pressure system's coming in, and it's strengthening. The low that goes offshore is deepening from about 1,008 to 988, almost bombogenesis, about 20 millibars in 24 hours, and that's moving away. It's going to be windy and very cold around here. Even though it's a high pressure system, there's upper level cold, so we still could have snowflakes in the air just about anywhere tomorrow into early Sunday, and then that high crests right over us on Monday. That's when the wind goes light with close to record low temperatures near 0 degrees in a lot of spots, but that's, you know, in third week of December, fourth week in December, that's not record cold, but it's very cold. And then that high pushes off, and it looks like another little wave coming through now Tuesday instead of Wednesday, so Christmas Eve day, and the models are all over the place with this, waffling and changing. So there is another short wave coming in here on Tuesday into Wednesday, and now it looks like Christmas Day could be dry if this is right. The other guidance says not so much, so this forecast is going to be changing dramatically. And then late in the week, it looks like warmer air trying to come at us, right? But then there's a backdoor front about next Friday or so, and look at that. It tries to snow in New England again next Friday into Saturday, where most of the guidance has been saying it was really going to warm up. But that high pressure system is stubborn over southeastern Canada, and here we are way out now to Sunday, 7 p.m. next weekend. What's that, the 29th? And that high is still to our northeast, and there's low pressure to our south with an onshore flow. And that means the threat for more rain or snow again next weekend. And it's more cold east than west, so it wouldn't be a north-south type situation with rain snow line. It would be an east-west type situation. This is so fascinating. Just as I'm talking right now, we've had some heavy blobs of precipitation coming into the Cape Cod area. I'm rewinding to right now with the play-by-play. I should go live. That looks like a heavy cloud coming in from the east right there. Below that cirrus cloud we had just a short time ago, and there is definitely virga precipitation coming out of the sky right there, and I'm starting to see hydrometeors come in right this second. This is so dynamic. We are going to be changing our minds every 3 hours on this weather forecast. And this is why I became a meteorologist. I love things that are unpredictable and dynamic and that we have no power over, and this is one of them. The weather situation in New England right now is changing by the second. All of a sudden it's raining from still cirrus clouds right over my head, but it's blowing in from the east. You know what I didn't show is the velocity azimuth display. As you go up in the sky, the wind, this is from the radar in Taunton this morning around, I don't know, 9 o'clock, I think it was. So the bottom layer there, the bottom 4,000 feet, the air is coming in from the east at 20 knots. And the time, the newest time is on the right there. And up in the sky above 14,000 feet, the air is coming from the west-southwest at more like 70 knots. So you have 70 knot wind from the west high in the sky, 20 knot wind from the east down low, and that's called differential advection. And wow, wow, wow is all I can say. This is playing out almost like a dream come true for those of us that wanted some white today. And I don't know what else to say. Maybe I can shift gears and go to the Enmore. Oops, sorry, finger was in the way. The Enmore, yesterday, Josh shared some video of skiing in far northern Vermont, where now this, including the Boston area, is day 5 in a row with snow in New England. And I think the count is now 22 of the last 23 days in a row with snow, with last Sunday being the only day it did not snow anywhere in New England, even though we had a December thaw here in southeastern Massachusetts. It's still going here on Cape Cod. The temperature's been above freezing now since last Sunday morning. So this is a 5-day thaw that is ending with snow. Kid's dream come true. Yeah, I'm still a kid at heart. A lot of things to do today. The Enmore, Kevin found this incredible bird's nest. Wow, what is that? An oriole? He says that Dan says that an oriole can make such an intricate nest. That's gorgeous. I found that in the garage yesterday. You find a lot of things in your garage and your cellar, don't you? And what else? The Enmore yesterday, I went to Scargo Tower. I was tooling around Cape Cod yesterday afternoon, so some views from Scargo Tower. And maybe I'll just leave you, instead of doing a time-lapse of Fallon's Pond, maybe I'll do both. I'll do the time-lapse from Fallon's Pond after Scargo Tower, and also the last bit of the Enmore will be Josh Worth and company in Tim Kelly Buck2, he called it, Timbuktu at Jay Peak in northern Vermont yesterday. And I got to write a new J blog today. I think we're going to get more snow, or just as much snow in parts of Massachusetts as northern Vermont in the next 24 hours anyway. But there's plenty of snow, and the groomers are going to be going to town making snow. This cold air this weekend, so windy and cold. Put on your mittens and toe warmers. Talk to you again out a different door with Steve and T-Rex. How much snow up to Steve's knees maybe tomorrow? See you in 24 hours. Oh, I just got a couple of more texts. I got Baloo.
Are you excited?
Playing out in the snow in South Boston this morning. Good job, Baloo. Loving that snow. Quite a surprise, huh? And also, happy birthday, Weir Lundstedt. Decided to do a strategic strike to Waterville Valley. So we'll do some Weir Lundstedt birthday wishes and his dream come true, a little powder stash at Waterville Valley. Good call, Weir. All right. Here's the rest of the Enmore. 1 p.m. I hear a little bird singing and I hear a big crow cawing. And we've got differential advection. We've got some mid-level altocumulus, almost indicating frontogenesis. We've got some high-level cirrus, indicating warmer air trying to come back in over the colder already. And then we have the Cape Cod ocean effect cloud over here, indicating colder air aloft starting to come in off the ocean. Very dynamic. Precipitation every 36 hours. Although we'll probably get most of the weekend after Saturday morning dry down here, but it's going to be close. And the sun, it's really nice. Probably about 45 degrees. Doing a lot of housekeeping, cleaning. here in the usually mostly summer place, but use it in the winter too. And got these instruments here. These were on the wall at New England Cable News for 15 years. The gauge is here, but the sensors went down with the ship there in Newton. I'm gonna go see Paul at Cape Cod Weather and see if he can maybe get them functioning again with some sensors. Never have too many weather instruments, right? Looking north from one of the higher spots in Dennis. Pardon me if you've heard this before. Scargo Tower. Rising 30 feet in the air, Scargo Tower is a well-known historical attraction that sits atop Scargo Hill, one of the highest elevations on Cape Cod. On a clear day, can see Sandy Neck to Pilgrim Monument in Provincetown, and blown down in 1876. It lasted 2 years. In a great storm. 1890, tower was sold to Frank Tolby of Knobscosset House to be offered as an attraction for locals and guests at his hotel. Second tower was destroyed during a wildfire in 1900 and rebuilt under the direction of Mr. Tolby, who this time elected to use Cape Cod stone to construct the new tower. In 1929, Tolby family heirs donated the Scargo Tower Observatory to the town of Dennis for Dennis residents and visitors to enjoy forever. The clouds are gathering over the ocean, and you can almost make out a band trying to form already. Top layer is warm air trying to overrun the cold. New cold coming in. Frontogenesis right over us. Come on, sunshine. Look over towards the east end of the Cape Cod Canal there. Sandwich Power Plant. You can see the sun now illuminating Sandy Neck. Should bring my tripod if you're patient. We too get the sunshine. Blinking in between the altocumulus and the horizon. I'm not going to be able to be here on Saturday morning to see how much snow, if any, we have got. So I'm going to rely on my locals and my webcam. My webcam in Dennis faces south, and I love the way the sun goes across it over Cross Fallens Pond. So I think that's the time lapse we'll leave us with today. Come on. It's going to be a gorgeous sunset. Well, no such thing as an ugly sunset, right? But if we can get the sun under those clouds, it's going to be even better. I reserve the right to add more and more to then more. And the time lapse over Fallens Pond as the sun goes from left to right, very low in the sky, just days away from the solstice. Happy birthday, Weird Lundstedt. Skiing with Ross at Crotched. We were the same age there for a couple of months, but now you're a year older than me again.
This is crazy.
Are we ever gonna do a retired and fired podcast?
Oh my God.
Someday.
Oh yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. So where are we? See a little avalanche here. Got an 8-inch fracture. Whole thing went. Wind slab on top of hard pack. Be careful if you're in the big terrain.